Hey everyone.
Hey guys, I'm Zandi.
I'm Jin.
And this is We Used to Be Married.
A podcast about two hot ass college kids who dated,
Broke up,
dated again,
broke up again,
had a baby,
got married,
got divorced,
and we're still friends.
Welcome to episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Brought to you by nothing.
No one.
Yet.
Because we're still newbies.
Yeah, we're still trying things out. Like, look at this new back setup that we've got going on.
Yeah.
Something new, add a little bit of texture, a little bit of fun.
New hair.
Oh, I got a haircut because, I mean, listen, you're always gonna be the pretty one in this podcast.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you very much.
But I don't want to be so far behind, so I want to try a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I got a special hair treatment done.
So for those of you who are only listening and who can't see the screen right now, Jin got a perm. A Korean perm.
Korean man perm. And I have this little curl now I could do in the front of my little Superman curl.
He's also
here.
wearing like a floral button up with a... Wait, show your chain.
Oh, the gold chain. Yeah. This is from my girlfriend, Adrienne.
Yes.
For Christmas. And so I am rocking the island guy vibe.
Gangster Korean.
Something, yeah.
K-pop manager vibe.
Yeah. Oh, manager. Okay, because I'm not young enough to be a K-pop star.
Right.
Yeah.
You look like you could manage a K-pop group.
Okay, yeah. And I had my glory days as well. Yeah.
Also, your features are not as feminine as they would need to be in a K-pop group.
That's true, but that can also be changed.
Yeah, you need a nose job.
Wow. Wow. She just went right for it. Like, she's been thinking about it for years and years, and now she was just like, no, this is my chance. Get a fucking nose job.
No, it's just because their noses are so like
narrow and tiny, like a cartoon, like a manga. Yeah, I know. I don't hate my nose, but I understand it's like not the most like magazine looking modelly nose. It's fine. I also have a deviated septum, so even better.
Hey, it works.
It does.
And you're still getting jobs with that nose.
Yeah,
so good job. Good for you.
Maybe I'll get more jobs with a new nose.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Anyways, today's episode is about cancer versus marriage.
Who's the winner? You won't believe what happens next. Clickbait. Wait, quick question. Yeah. I also want to celebrate something.
Yeah.
Real quick. So you and I survived COVID.
Oh my gosh.
So between episode 2 and 3, I had to take some time off to record because we got COVID.
Yeah.
Finally.
After 2 years of being really vigilant.
Like 2.5 years. You know what I mean? And the thing is, like, we did good. We did the socially responsible things. We did everything we needed to do. And at this point, I think it became a matter of when, not if we were going to get it.
Sure.
And, the vaccine worked. Like, we had some residual effects, but we got through it. And I think it was more like, for me, it was emotionally a little damaging because I was like, oh man, I felt like a unicorn. I hadn't gotten the original. I hadn't gotten Omarion. I hadn't gotten Unicron. I hadn't gotten Zeta, Beta, Alpha, none of those. And then I finally got, I don't even know which one I got.
Yeah, we don't know.
Now that we finally got it, it's like a relief, but also I don't feel like a unicorn anymore.
Did you have any symptoms?
I had a cough and a sore throat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had a cough, a sore throat. I was extremely fatigued. And I still have a lingering cough. So if you hear my voice is a little scratchy or if you hear me cough, it's because I'm still going through it.
And yes, COVID. Absolutely COVID. So yeah, let's celebrate our...
Yeah. And also, I thought you were going to say, let's celebrate our non-anniversary. As in, like, it was our anniversary of our marriage, but we didn't celebrate it because we're not married anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
It was April 4th.
April 4th.
And it is April 23rd now.
Yes.
But we hadn't recorded since... It's been a while, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 3 weeks.
Yeah. So
anyway, we're back.
We're back and we're still not married.
Thank you.
We're still divorced.
Yeah. Thank you for celebrating our non-anniversary out there. And here's an interesting thing.
Talking to the mic.
Here's an interesting thing. I feel like at some point people are like, oh my God, like, will they, won't they? Like a Ross and Rachel thing. And if this ever gets to a point where someone starts thinking about those questions, let's just say it's never going to freaking happen. So let's put that to bed right now before anything else gets recorded.
Yep. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So one thing that I learned in the however many years we've known each other is that we do not work well in a committed relationship.
Yeah.
But we're great friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think when the pressure of being like in a relationship is out of the picture, is not in the equation, we're like super good homies.
Yeah.
So that's why this podcast works. That's why our co-parenting situation works.
Yeah.
And that's why we'll never be in a relationship. So don't ask, y'all.
Stop.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
It's
oh
so
my
annoying.
God.
Also, you have a partner and she's great.
And you? How great
Dating.
Is that? Yeah, we're going
Dating
to talk about
is
that another.
The best. Dating is the worst and the best. That's my new single.
Nice. Dating is the worst and the best. Look out for it on Spotify, iTunes,
and
wherever.
TikTok.
And TikTok. Okay, so back to the subject. I love that. I love that little thing little song that you made.
Yeah.
So today's chapter 3, is
it's about cancer and how we handled it, each of us. I think we touched on it a little bit in the last episode.
Episode
but
2, I talked about kind of my perspective, you know, and now we're going to get into the meat, the source of the cancer.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start off because I'm the one who had cancer.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed at age 27, which I thought was impossible. I thought breast cancer was like a 65 plus, like kind of cancer.
Boy, were we wrong.
Yeah, I didn't know you could have breast cancer at that age.
We were both pretty dismissive about it too.
Yeah. So when I first had like suspicions of this like pain in my chest and the tightness and like a growth even, I had an ultrasound and the doctor was kind of suggesting I could either monitor it for 6 months or get a core needle biopsy. And I was like, needle?
No, and he actually said that it would be a painful and invasive process. And that also further turned you off.
Well, yeah, I was also concerned about insurance for some reason. I don't know. I was like, but is it expensive?
Right. Isn't that crazy? That's hard.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's one thing I learned is like, you know what? Invest in yourself and be an advocate of your own health. Don't leave it to kind of like,
I mean, professionals, but
no. I mean, like, don't, when they said monitor it, it's kind of like, we'll see what happens. Like, I would rather have peace of mind. Going back, I would have been probably like, yeah, you know what? Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, this past week, I couldn't breathe and I was like really coughing up like a lot. And
were you just being dramatic?
I was probably just being dramatic. I called Danny. I was like, do you have our old inhalers? I can't breathe. Please bring it over. And he's like, oh my God.
This is what you call maarte in Filipino culture?
It's in English, extra. That's me. That's my middle name.
That's what I learned from being married to her.
So I went to urgent care and I was there for 5 hours. 5 hours.
To hear what was the news?
To hear that my my chest x-ray was fine.
And your checks bounced.
No, my checks did not bounce, but I got prescribed some prescription cough pills and an inhaler. After 5 hours.
5 hours, wow.
Of being there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm fine. It's just being maarte.
But hey, long story short, if you have a medical concern, just go take care of it.
Yeah, get it checked out.
And yes, it is 100%. Oh, medical bills and all that stuff. But you know what? You're gonna pay for it twice if you are if you do have something wrong.
Trust me, I had bills. Okay, so I would say less than 2 to 3 months later.
Yeah, it was between June through August. Yeah, August. We were like.
Yeah, I was. I noticed in the mirror that my like this side, the left breast was overflowing in my bra cup, and I was like, this is not normal. I had pretty small boobies, 32A, I think.
This became less of a blessing to me and more of a concern.
Are we talking about you?
Yeah. We're talking about how I perceived your breasts. Okay.
Okay, cool. Continue. So then I asked for another ultrasound, and when I got, that was on a Friday, and then I immediately saw them.
Wow. Of course,
because they couldn't help me over the weekend. So they're like, on Monday, you can come in if you're really concerned, come in for an ultrasound.
Okay.
And I ended up going, my dear, and he took me to the UCLA like Women's Imaging Center, and I was just supposed to have an ultrasound. And then when I was the youngest one there, I had the ultrasound, and they saw something, and they're like, "We're also going to do a mammogram." I was like, "Who? I thought that was for old ladies."
Right.
And so
That's
they
crazy.
did the mammogram, and I don't know if you guys know this, but when you do a mammogram, you basically have to like take as much breast tissue as you can and smash them between two metal plates.
I've heard.
It's really sucky. And I didn't have much to smash between the plates, so it was really painful. And then they were like, "Sorry, the results were inconclusive, and the doctor wants us to do it again." So they had already like everyone cleared out. It was almost closing time. They're like, "We're going to do it again." After the second time, they were like, we're gonna do a biopsy. And I was like, "When?" And they're like, "We'll schedule another." I was like, "No, we're doing it today. I'm here now."
Oh.
So literally they were shutting down, but they stayed open just for me. I had nurses holding either one of my hands, and they shoved this big old needle that was like hollow, shoved it in to 3 different places and took samples. And you could see they were already really concerned. And I was asking, like, "What does it mean? When will I find out the results?" And she was like, "Let's just wait to see what the report says."
Yeah.
When really I knew from the way she said it that it was really concerning.
And do you think they were extra concerned because you're so young? Do you think that had anything to do with it?
I think it was already spreading.
They were like, yeah.
And it was big enough. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, it was, good on them for getting it done and everything that day.
Yeah, let's take a quick break.
All right.
Oh, what were we talking about?
Okay. So my question was, they were so concerned because...
because I was young, and because they probably saw an advanced... advanced cancer, basically, because it had spread. It wasn't in just one area. It was there were 2 lumps, and then
can you explain that biology of that, like how it spreads and at what point you were?
So basically, cancer is a mutation in your cells.
Okay, that's too far back. I think people know what that is.
Great.
But I mean, in terms of breast cancer, when you get it, then what is the next stage? What are the stages?
Okay. Well, first of all, you can get breast cancer in different areas, and there are different types of breast cancer. Oh. So some of the breast cancers out there are responsive to hormones, and mine was not that type. It was caused by a overproduction of a protein called HER2. So it was HER2 positive. It was ER and PR negative. So those are our hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Oh. And it wasn't responding to that. So it wasn't the type where, my eldest sister and my aunt both had that kind of cancer. And stage 1 is where it's very localized, and it's easily, like, you could remove it and you should be okay.
It's like a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Stage 2 is a little more advanced. Stage 3 is even more advanced, where it's like aggressively like spreading.
Yeah.
When it has metastasized to another organ in your body, it's stage 4. And that means it's like it's spreading, and it's really hard to treat that because it's already been like so invasive everywhere around the body.
And different parts of the body respond differently to different treatments and everything. So it's like a whole nother level of confusion and chaos.
So mine was stage 3 because it was in my breast, but it was moving into my armpit. It was moving into the armpit, right?
So the lymph nodes are
lymph nodes, and then it could move into the whole lymphatic system and move into other lymph nodes all around my body and travel and go around to the body. So they had to catch it and act quickly because they didn't want it to continue spreading.
Yeah.
So the first course of action was to do chemo. So that was really hard. I did 6 rounds of chemo. Each one was about 3 or 4 weeks apart, I think.
Yeah. And I remember one thing about the treatment too, the kind of cancer that you had, the HER2 positive, the treatment for that hadn't been developed until very recently.
Yeah. There's a targeted therapy called HER2. It's a targeted chemo just for that protein. So, and I think it was developed at UCLA, but
yes.
So I was really lucky to be a UCLA patient. Mm-hmm. I was also I voluntarily participated in a drug trial, and that wrecked me. So they took me off after a few weeks of being on that. Um, and after 6 rounds of chemotherapy, after losing my hair, after, my eyebrows thin, my eyelashes, everything, and it was really, really taxing. So if any of you have been through that, you know what that's like. If you haven't, it causes a lot of nausea. It's really hard to sleep. Your brain feels like it's on fire. You can't remember a lot of things. You have like chemo brain.
From the little I do know about chemotherapy, it is a poison.
Yes.
You are poisoning your body.
And you're trying to kill the bad cells, but in the process, you're killing good cells as well.
Yeah.
So you can't like be selective of which cells you're going to kill. You're just like killing everything.
Yeah.
And hoping that your white blood cells will recover and heal everything that was, killed.
So if you have if you have a weakened immune system already, if you tend to get sick and colds and flus a lot, this treatment, any kind of cancer treatment, would basically
wreck you,
take you out potentially.
It could take you
all
out
the way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's why a lot of people don't survive, and a lot of older people, especially. So yeah, luckily I was pretty strong and I had a great support system. My mom is a nurse and she was there a lot of the time. My sisters were amazing. My best friend. And I had a lot of people who actually like showed up out of nowhere, who were friends of mine in college or at different parts of my life, who were like, hey, we care about you. And so that was really great. That was really nice to see people who I hadn't heard from just show their love and support.
And that's something that was really interesting for me to see, is that it's not, not everyone is your best friend and shows up every time, but people out there, wish you well. And when you're not doing well, will show up.
Well, I mean, everyone handles crisis and trauma in a different way. Absolutely. So I did not fault anyone who I thought would show up, who didn't show up. Except for you. I did fault you.
Absolutely. And no, I was about to say, I was about to literally just say, and all the people that showed up, I was not one of them in a way that I'm proud of at all.
Right.
But
you were the closest to it. You had to see a lot of that go down, and it's kind of like traumatizing.
I don't understand. And I think I'm getting better now. I'm like one of those people who see people crying or whatever. I'm like, it's okay. Like now, so imagine how bad I was, over a decade ago.
Yeah.
But
we had a
it was
and then also having a 2-year-old. So we had wonderful friends. 2 of Maxwell's godmothers took him in whenever I would have chemo and put him in a different school for that week. It was really a blessing to have so much support.
Yeah. And I was just trying to work.
Yeah.
I was just like, God, I got this. That's all I could do. I can't help her.
That's all you knew how to do.
And all I had to do was show up. I will say this: there is my salvo in this entire scenario, and this is something actually concrete that I'm kind of proud of. We, being artistic types, we wrote a short film about your experience.
Insert
the
thumbnail here.
Oh yeah.
It's called
You can act. Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
It's called
Best Day Ever. So Jin wrote this short film about what it was like to tell all of my loved ones that I had cancer, and also my coworkers. And you'd be surprised about like the responses that you get when you're the one with cancer and then you have to tell somebody.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to like put your own feelings aside because they're about to just like feelings dump on you. Like, oh my God, are you going to be okay? And so the craziest things, obviously we kind of like amped up the humor in it.
Yeah,
so
we made it a little bit more maarte. But that's the word of the day, maarte. Yay! Yeah, so we obviously amped up the drama a little bit, but they were, the reason we were inspired to write this was because of the fact that from the doctor that initially diagnosed her, it not the treatment doctors, but their initial. It was like
it was my
weird,
OBGYN.
Yeah, it was just such a weird series of responses, and we just started laughing because we couldn't do anything else about it. And this was, kind of you had started treatments, and so anyway, we wrote this thing to kind of make ourselves laugh, and you can look it up on YouTube. Called Breast Day Ever.
Okay, wait, you're gonna put the thumbnail right
It's
here?
Every time I say Breast Day Ever, it's gonna pop up
right here.
Yeah, that's what I do. So I mean, that was kind of part of my journey of like kind of coping with it and trying to figure out ways to like for me to cope with it, and something that you could star in as well, that I thought would be kind of a cool thing for us to work on.
I would hope you would include me and not recast me and be like, this person playing my wife. That would be fucked up.
Yeah.
Especially because I still had my hair. I still had I was still capable.
Yeah.
It was like before my first round of chemo or right after my first round of chemo. I think
so, because at the end of it, after editing and everything, there's a special clip of a very like candid moment of
when I shaved my head,
when I cut your hair. First, from the length to shorten it because you were starting to lose your hair.
I was.
So
it was like around the second round of chemo, second or third round of chemo, where I literally would just touch it and then like chunks of it would fall out. And I was at work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't stay here. I have to go home. And my supervisor was like, just don't touch it. Yeah. I was like, wow. Thanks for your support.
Thank you for problem solving. You're so right. It was the hair falling out that was the issue.
Yeah, it's my fault for touching it.
Yeah.
I should just leave it. It'll be fine.
That just gives you an insight on the kind of things that you could look forward to if you go pull this short film up.
Yeah, please excuse my really bad acting.
As mine. Well. Listen, you look back and you just like, oh, I would have made a different choice there or whatever. Yeah. But yes,
maybe you should have recast me with somebody else.
But I think, and going back to your journey with all that, I thought that this was something that I can offer.
Sure. This is the way you cope.
This was the initial stages, and I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to, be able to deal with the course of everything else that happened after that. Mm-hmm. Obviously not well. But that I think was my kind of way of trying to stay connected with you and try to inspire and whatever. And at the end of the day, I think we have something at least we could show our friends. And
I mean, it was good. It did not serve as it was not enough. Basically, you couldn't just say, I did this.
Yeah,
I supported you. I did this. But it was still a great. It was a gift. It was a nice gift.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it helped you a little bit through it.
Yeah.
So after chemo, the next step was a bilateral mastectomy. So I opted to do bilateral because even though I didn't have cancer in the right breast, I wanted them to be symmetrical. So I said, just take them both. Not only that, so that was kind of of superficial, but also they said there is a slight chance that it could show up in the next one, in the other side. So I said, I don't want that chance. Just take all the breast tissue and reconstruct. So first I had to get rid of the tissue, and we can insert my blog here called Once Upon a Boob. And there are graphic images of the surgery and even what the breast tissue that they extracted looked like. And then after that, they place these things called spacers, and they're really rigid. Like, I don't know what they are.
Yeah,
like,
they just stretch the skin out, right?
It felt like Tupperware inside my chest.
No, gracias.
And then
I don't even like Tupperware in the pantry.
So then they would inject every week a little more saline into my chest to give me the desired size. So
double D's.
No.
Nuts.
No. I was a 32A and now I'm a 32B. So I used to wear like Victoria's Secret push-up bras, and they said, how big do you want to go? I was like, well, can you just make me look like this so I don't have to wear a push-up bra anymore? He's like, yeah, we could do that. And I could have gone bigger, but honestly, that process of stretching my skin was torturous.
Yeah.
It was so uncomfortable. It's like wearing the tightest bra and then never being able to take it off because it's inside your skin.
That's a horror movie.
it still feels that way, to be honest with you. Sometimes it itches and I realize it's not like on the outside of my skin, it's like on the inside. And I'm just like, maybe like the nerves I'm regaining feeling, they're finally coming alive, and it's 10 years later.
Yeah.
And or like the silicone implant is like, I don't know, doing something inside, and I'm like, it's so itchy. I wish I could like just go in there and
just
know.
Oh god, like a back scratcher, but for inside your skin.
Exactly. Sometimes I forget too. I'm in public, like at work, and I'm just like doing this. I'm like rubbing my chest, and I'm like, oh, that's not a thing that people do.
Acceptable.
No, I can't just like grab my boobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. Also, I didn't elect to get
nipple
reconstruction. No.
Okay. Sorry.
I didn't elect to get nipple reconstruction because I didn't want to have to wear a bra the rest of my life. So I just have these like gnarly scars across my chest, and I'm hoping that one day I'll save enough money one day to get like tattoos that are like 3D looking nipples. Like the shading is so good, but like it's expensive.
Oh, so that was a cosmetic procedure?
Yeah, it's not covered by insurance.
Oh, because I remember the doctor talking about that, and I thought you got it done.
No, I didn't get it done.
Damn.
That's funny that you don't know that. That's right.
I have not seen your boobs
since surgery.
Breast cancer.
That's funny.
She is really fucking hilarious. I'm like realizing this now. I'm like
the light bulb moment. Like
light bulb.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Actually, yes.
So the only image is from since you were 27.
25.
20. No.
Wait, 27. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's funny.
It's so weird to think about like random facts like that. It's just like holy shit.
Well, and then 5 months later after we broke up, and I was still going through like my last bit of treatment, I met my daughters. Yeah. And he was actually the first one to see. Yeah. And that was a really traumatizing experience. I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to sleep with you and I don't have nipples. Sorry, that's going to be weird. I'm so sorry. Luckily, he was very like, you're fine. You want their breast cancer. You're fine. Yeah. But yeah, so I didn't elect to have that. I still don't have nipples. But what were you gonna say? I just felt like I had to share that.
I love that you did. I mean, it just shows how long and how far you've come, in terms of
when I have
vanity too. It's a little bit of personal vanity, but also just kind of really dealing with the reality of your situation. I'm proud of you for that.
Thanks. Well, when I had relatives on her dad's side ask me like, you're breastfeeding, right? Are you breastfeeding? And I want to be like, I don't have nipples. I went through breast cancer.
Yeah.
I have no choice but to give my child formula. But I didn't want to be rude. Mm-hmm. So I just said, no, I'm breastfeeding. I mean, I'm not breastfeeding. I'm feeding her formula. But the people who did know eventually kind of figured it out. I just didn't want to be like, no, dude, I had cancer. I can't do that.
Yeah. Anyways, you didn't just wave that flag around and be like,
I'm
a survivor.
I'm a survivor.
You know what I mean?
I really wanted to.
Yeah.
Anyways, after I had the reconstructive surgery, I had to have radiation. And that's actually around the time that we split up. So I moved to Lancaster to be with my sister, and I moved from UCLA to, I think, Antelope Valley Hospital or something like that.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
And I did, I think I did 6 weeks of radiation there.
So radiation is different from chemo?
Yeah, chemo, they pump poison into your blood, or not blood, into your system through your veins. Uh-huh. I had a port in my, literally Wait,
can you use that port and stick something in there and scratch the inside of your boobs when
Dude,
it gets
it's
itchy?
gone. The port is gone.
Oh.
I had a port removal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Shame. So wait, radiation is when they literally stick you on. I was on this
slab,
and I have 5 different tattoos. It's my only ink that I have, but they had to give markers where they had to line up the light. And so they used 5 dots to line it up every day, and then they would zap me for I don't know, 5,
in the chest area.
Yeah, for 5 minutes with intense radiation. It's
Do you know what kind of radiation it was? Was it gamma radiation?
Bro, I don't know.
Right. Do you have periods where you black out and you wake up in purple shorts?
Yeah.
Around like destroyed buildings and stuff?
Yes.
Oh my God, this is incredible. You're the Incredible.
I am the Incredible Hulk.
You're the Incredible Zulk. Zandi Hulk.
What kind of radiation treats cancer, right?
Sure, yeah.
Treats cancer.
We're Googling it.
We're Googling it. Gamma rays. It is.
X-rays, gamma rays, and charged particles. X-rays, gamma rays, charged particles. So
no wonder I'm so crazy.
Oh God, yeah.
So that happened, and here's another link to my blog where you can see a graphic photo of how dark and burnt my skin was. It was toasted. It was brown. It looked like leather.
Like after you got back from Hawaii?
No, worse than that. It was burnt. It was so brown.
Really? Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, sun radiation, that makes sense.
Wait, did you read my blog?
I think at that point I was trying to recover from.
Yeah, it would be interesting for you to like look at it, and you could actually see photos of my breasts after surgery. I was not afraid to share that. And there's other people out there who probably are going through breast cancer or have gone through breast cancer. And those images actually really help them. I've had people who are like, thank you so much for writing about it.
That's amazing.
And now I kind of know what to expect and what you went through. And even sharing the really graphic images. Right. So, yeah.
Wait, so, I mean, and I remember in pop culture, like Christina Applegate, the actress, Kelly Bundy from Married with Children and all that. She got a double mastectomy as well because of the same reasoning that you had, right? I think there are other celebrities that also did that, but I mean, I didn't realize, like, I guess it makes sense,
Well, there are even I can't remember if it was Angelina Jolie or somebody who was like
just preemptively.
They had like stage 1 breast cancer, and they're like, preemptively, I'm just going to get rid of all of it and just get a boob job.
Yeah.
So I have I have fake boobs. There's no
nipple.
No nipple. But also it's literally just the chest wall of muscle and an implant against it. So it's like when I like flex my muscles, it looks weird because you could just see.
Oh. Wait, do you have to? I know it's not inappropriate because there's no nipples.
Right. It's not going to be censored.
And I know with cosmetic implants, you have to get them replaced every 10 years or so?
10 to 15.
10 to 15 years. So that's something you're going to have to look forward to.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to have surgery again in the next few years.
Damn. Yeah. Surgery is crazy. It's invasive. And you're talking about nerve endings earlier. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Having broken now, 5 bones?
Jeez.
Yeah. So, this is probably the closest thing to scarring.
You're showing your collarbone on the camera. This is a podcast, remember?
Yeah, I know, but in case anybody watches the video. So I'm showing it's about a 6-7 inch scar on my shoulder blade because I broke my collarbone and they fixed it. So they're going in there and there's like metal and stuff in there. So like, is a scar, what kind, like how big are your scars? Are they like?
Yeah, I would say they're about that size.
Are they like discolored like this too?
Yes.
Oh man. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you have 2 of like ones about that.
And big. I have one sliced down in my armpit as well.
Armpit area.
Yeah.
Okay. Dang.
Anyways, so yeah, I look at them now and I say, wow, you survived. Mm-hmm. They're no longer like, oh, I'm sad. Sometimes I get sad and that's okay. Yeah. But mostly I look in the mirror and I say, you're a badass. You survived.
Good for you.
Good job.
Good for you.
And good job, medicine and science. Right?
Yeah. Science, man. I mean, it's not perfect, but I think we're all trying to do our best, and I'm glad. I am very relieved that they found a treatment that worked for your type of breast cancer too.
It was rough though, and it is the reason why we titled this episode "Cancer versus Marriage."
Yeah, who won?
Cancer won the battle between cancer versus marriage, but I won the battle against cancer.
Yes,
bitches.
You did, and I lost everything.
You regained your freedom. You needed to.
Honestly. For freedom is sometimes overrated.
But you needed to find yourself.
But I
needed to find myself.
I think that's the thing too, and I think we spent some time trying to find ourselves with other people. And I think this is kind of the first time in both of our lives. And I think that's also a key milestone, that we are now figuring things out like as individuals. And because of that energy, I think that's why, I felt like we needed to kind of have these conversations and talk about stuff that hurt us and affected us so deeply back in the day.
Yeah, and now we're actively healing from them.
Yeah.
So go us.
Go us.
Go therapy. Again, we're toasting our therapists, and
absolutely.
Props to our therapists.
Okay, so I want to, one more time, what is your the link for the blog? Okay,
so it's onceuponaboob.wordpress.com.
Okay, great. Onceuponaboob.wordpress.com.
And how can we find the short film on YouTube?
Yes, I love this. We have content. We're offering content. This is called value, listeners. Yes, the short is called Best Day Ever, and we came up with that after many hours of hemming and hawing and creative walls that we've hit, and it is still live on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's a play on how it was actually not the best day ever.
It was the worst day ever.
Yeah.
But it's good for a laugh. And I think
and my favorite character is played by our friend Jerry Yang. He plays the doctor who diagnosed me.
Yeah, somehow he perfectly encapsulated just the callous energy
of the OBGYN.
Yeah. It has to be a man, and he has to
mansplain it.
Yeah.
And he has to be completely insensitive.
Absolutely.
So go check that out.
Go check out her blog. I am definitely gonna go check it out, because I totally forgot that you had that going on, and I just was like, poor me, how do I survive this? But I did, and you did.
We did. We sure did. We're here today to tell the story and talk about how it definitely played a huge role in our divorce.
Yeah.
In the end of our marriage. It wasn't the only thing, but it definitely was a huge factor in a marriage that was already really...
It really highlighted all the weaknesses already there.
Yeah.
So, it's... I can't even call it a blessing in disguise. That's just such a stupid statement.
I mean, it was part of our journey, part of our path, and it brought us to where we are today. And I'm so grateful that we can sit here and tell the story and reflect on the things that we learned, the shitty things that we went through, the
moments of of positivity and joy that that we were able to
find. I also want to plug some cancer music I wrote.
Oh,
so I actually wrote.
Is it on Spotify?
It isn't. I don't even know how to do that, you guys. I don't know how to do that.
Someone help her,
please anyone. If you know how to do that.
We have an email.
I'm sure. Yeah, we used to be married at gmail.com. But also, I could probably just Google it and find out how to upload my own music.
But why would you want to do that? That's effort. You don't want to put in effort.
So I wrote some really cool music with my brother-in-law while I was living at his house, and they are the best songs I feel like I've ever written, because they were born out of a lot of pain, and I wanted to transform that into some art, right? So I think
we had artistic outlets that we tried to really
art really helped us cope. And I think that was one of the bullet points on our outline today, like how did we cope?
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that we had those outlets. We had the short film, I had the blog, I had the music.
Yeah.
And
and shout out to all of our friends who made that short film for free. Julius and Caesar Salad Productions, and love all those guys. Did a couple podcasts episodes with their with their production company too.
Yes.
So recently.
Was it Caesar Salad Productions?
What?
What's it called?
Oh, his company is called
Caesar Salad.
Also, the Julius's podcast is called Shooting the Shit. It is a live stream radio show, so check that out on Wednesdays, I believe. Yeah, so we had a lot of friends involved in our journey and artistic stuff and things that we were doing to really
cope with cancer,
with everything. Yeah. So you're not alone.
Yeah, if you are going through cancer, God bless you. And I definitely think that my mental health and positivity and support group, all of that played a huge factor in my healing. So reach out. Don't be afraid to say when you need help or when you're going through it. And, you'd be surprised to see how many people want to be there for you. They just don't know how. A lot of people who are, close to a loved one who is going through cancer, they just don't know what to say. They don't want to say the wrong things, or they do say the wrong things and then it backfires.
Sorry.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about our Breast Day Ever stuff.
All right.
But anyways, I'm just saying, don't be afraid to say, hey, I need this. I need food. I need someone to take me out. I need someone to walk with me in the park. I need someone to help me buy clothes that are like comfy because my skin is irritated by chemo. I need someone to bring me seaweed soup, Korean seaweed soup, or to give me a hug. Or I need you as my spouse to show up to my chemo sessions.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah, so that is what cancer was like. Cancer versus marriage. Cancer won that battle. Marriage
Cancer
did not.
won, marriage 0.
Cancer won.
But then you got married again, so marriage also won again. But then now you're not married anymore, so back to 0? Is that how it works?
Those are different battles.
Okay, all right.
But that specific battle between my cancer and our marriage, cancer won that battle.
Yeah, definitely.
But we also, in a different battle against negativity and life and positivity, we're here now to say we're winning. We're winning life right now.
Yeah.
So go to therapy.
Yeah, get yourself checked out.
Go to therapy.
And
ask for help when you need it. And remember, it's not always about you.